Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to Critical Reading and Writings. Okay, students, after we had a debate, a hot debate on Emmanuel Macron's, now we go to another discussions about the identifying the argument, but in a different kinds of text. So far, we had non-fictional text in the book or in a Macron speech or in a scientific research. But today we go fiction, to a fiction text that we can find in a literary works, whether in form of poems, a short story, a drama, theater, etc. Okay, so to clear the ground, we have to identify first the literary work itself or the literatures that make it different from another text like scientific articles or like Macron's speech. So literatures, just like the other texts, is a kind of a communications. It is the communications between the author and the reader. Okay, so literature is a kind of communication between author and reader through the medium of language in literary works such as poem, drama, fiction, etc. What makes literary works different from scientific reports from the non-fiction's book or some from the Macron speech? It is about the elements of literary works. The elements of literary work contains of fictions like persona or the character, fictitious character, uh, plot, conflicts, setting, and any other elements in literatures that we cannot find in other kinds of texts. So next, that literatures is a kinds of indirect communication. Indirect communication here means that the author didn't give the clear or the exact meaning of his message to the reader, but through the story or through the elaborated language like poems, through the conversations in the drama, yeah, and the reader have to conclude or have to interpret the tags by themselves. Okay, so that's why sometimes literary works have different interpretation. One reader give different interpretation from other reader. For example, when you read Ada Apa Dengan Cinta or you read Harry Potter, you will have a different meaning, different interpretation from your friends who read the same text. Yeah. Why is it happen? Because literary text usually use connotations, connotative expressions, not a denotative. Okay, so because it is tend to be connotative, it tends to be ambiguous. It has more than one meaning. Okay, nah. Uh, Other aspect that makes literary works different from other texts, as I told you before, that it has the structure. Yeah. So, for example, in a prose or short story, it has a character, it has plot, it has setting, it has conflict, etc. While in the poems, we have diction. It has a um, manipulations of sounds like allusion, like assonance, we have rhymes, etc. Those kinds of literary element make it different from other texts. So, for example, like this, author talks to the reader through the story. In the story, there are narrator, narrative, character who speak to other character, and all of that world in the narrative text world or fictional mediations level, it has a code or a message. Okay, for the real example, it likes like this. Suppose the man in the left is the author of Kancil story, while the people on the right watching televisions are the reader or the viewer. So the author speak to the reader through the Kancil story. But in Kancil story itself, there are some characters, some people, fictitious people like Ato and his grandchildren's Ara and her brother. Yeah. Ato tell a story to Ara and her brother about Kancil and um, crocodile. Uh, from the story of Kancil and crocodile that Ato told to his grandchildren, Ato give a kinds of codes or message. For example, the message can be Kancil is clever while crocodile is fool, or it can be a moral message like be smart like a Kancil, or don't be so dumb like a crocodile. Okay, that's it. Next, however, sometimes the reader or the audience or the viewer have different interpretations of Kancil. Yeah. For some people, Kancil is smart, clever, but from other people, Kancil teach us a bad thing. For example, in Kancil Nyolong Timun, yeah, it shows that Nyolong Timon is illegal because it is done by the protagonist. It is done by the hero. It's Kancil. Yeah. So for some people, Kancil teach us a good thing to be clever, but for other people, Kancil teach us to be a bad. Yeah. And it is normal for literary works because literary works uh, it use the um, connotations or it use the indirect communications. People want to say, be a smart guys, be a smart man, indirectly by giving a story about Kanjil, for example, like that. Yeah. Okay. So now we go to the core of our business today. How to find the arguments in literary works, yeah? Considering that literary works is a kind of in connotative text, it uh, communicates indirectly, it has elements that different from other texts. So before we go to the step in finding the argument, we have to be clear first what is argument. The argument, again, I would like to repeat, the argument is a statement that contain at least two elements. The first is the claim, the claim or the statement that summarize the main idea, and the second is the reason why that claim is true or the evidence to support that claim. Okay, so again, argument has two elements. The first is the claim, yeah, the statement of the main idea. The second is the reason or the evidence to support the claim. Okay, for example, simple example like yoga is smart man. This is the claim, the statement. Now, what is the reason or the evidence? The reason and the evidence is like he has A for all lecture. Yeah, so argument can be yoga is smart man because he has A for all lecture. That is an example of a simple argument. Now we have to implement it in a literary work. Now, in a literary work, a claim can be similar to the theme. Yeah, the theme here is about the uniting element of the literary work. Theme here can be the elements that can be the main idea of all part of the literary works, and the theme itself contains the topics and the opinions. Later we will explain it. And then next, the reason or the evidence can be similar to literary element that support the theme. It can be character, plot, setting, diction, dialogue, etc., etc. Okay. Now, how to identify the step to identify the arguments in literature? First of all, you have to read all part of the story, all lines of the poems, or all dialogues in the drama to get the topics, of the text. Okay. After you find the topic, you find the general things about the topics, or the general things about the text. What is the text about? What is the story about? What is the poems or the drama about? Now you find the theme. Yeah, the theme here is the combinations between the topic and the opinions. Yeah, the topic and the opinion, or it is a kind of claim. Next, after you find the claims, now you go to the detail or the literary element here as your uh, reason and evidence to support the themes or the claim. Okay. Now let's go to the real example. For example, you read the text about Malin Kundang. You have to read all part of Malin Kundang from the beginning until the end. After you finish reading the Malin Kundang story, now find the topic. What is the Malin Kundang about? For example, you find that Malin Kundang is about child disobedient, or in Indonesia, uh, anak yang durhaka. Okay. Now, next, after you find the topic child obedience, go to find the theme. Themes, the topic plus the opinions. What's your opinion about child obedience? Yeah. For example, child obedience is caused by materialistic culture of the society. Yeah. So child obedience as a topic, the opinion about child obedience is caused by material culture of society. Okay, and it will be the claim. Yeah, just like the claim. Now, what is the reason or the or the evidence to support the theme or the claim above? You have to find the literary element from the character, plot, or from the setting, etc. Now, for example, here, how to prove that the child disobedient is caused by the materialistic culture of the society. I over the elements of characteristic of people in Malin Kundang. As we know that Malin Kundang people are a coastal people and traders. So as a traders, they value things, they see things from profit or non-profit point of view. When it is profitable, they will respect, they will uh, give the positive response. While when it is non-profitable, they will look down on it. So that's why in their life, Malin Kundang and his mother, yeah, were underestimated by the people. Why? Because Malin Kundang and his mother are poor, and you know that the people uh, look down on something unprofitable, non-profitable. So because Malin Kundang is poor, cannot give them a profit, so they look down on them. So next, that it is also the evidence also shows us that when Malin Kundang came home, yeah, with all of his um, stuff, with all of his luxurious things. Yeah, he went homes in a rich condition. So people start to respect him, give respect to Malin Kundang because Malin Kundang is rich, because Malin Kundang profitable for them. Yeah, okay. So that's all the example, simple examples of how to find arguments in literary works. So to summarize, our discussion today, first that in finding the arguments in literary works, we need different approach. Why? Because literary works is a kinds of communications that is indirect. It use the connotative meaning, um, and it has the ambiguity or multiples meaning. Yeah? And then it has the element that different from other kinds of text. So to find the arguments, you need to first to read all the text, to find the topic, what the text is about, and then find the themes. The theme is the topic plus the opinion, and then it is also it is as a claim, and then you have to find the literary element as the evidence or the reason to support the themes or the claims. Okay, uh, the last, because literary works is multi-interpretative, it means that people can interpret different way in and get the different meaning. So be confident in interpreting the text, the literary works. Yeah. The matters, what matters, or what is important is that you have to support the with the strong arguments, yeah, by providing the claim and the strong evidence and reasons. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you very much for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.